I'm here with Max today. No CVO. He had some prior obligations. Talk about some price action as we finally had something interesting happen overnight. You can see Max is already zoned into order flow here, as that's how he likes to trade. So we just wanted to get the chart up. That way you guys know what we're going to be talking about right out the gate. We're going to start with Bitcoin. SPX and DXY we'll cover later. But we're going to hop right into it. Make this pretty short and sweet for you guys, as I've got a busy couple days here. I won't be here tomorrow, as I will be traveling down to Florida, be linking up with CVO and a couple of other content creators. Probably go check out Blockchain Crusader, maybe meet up with Gareth and have a bite. And that's really it. And just kind of relax in Florida for a little bit. But the show will still go on. So let me get my chart up, and I'll roll through the easiest way to have looked at this whole price action, and we'll rock and roll.
If we don't get one vlog out of this trip, I'll be very upset.
You don't get a vlog? Oh, is that like a video thing?
Yeah, where you like record yourself and you like run into CCV at the airport like, hi.
Probably won't do that. I'll probably, if you guys want, I'll just like only tape myself when I'm eating.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys can just watch me eat, because that's what I'm most excited about, is the fresh seafood, going down there and getting some decent food. So, yeah, that vlogging is probably not going to happen, but you've seen how active I am on Instagram. It's pretty much non-existent. All right, let's look at Bitcoin here, guys. Very, very simple. We talked about this the other day. Well, yesterday, I shouldn't say the other day. Realistically, what do we do the beginning of the week? We talk about this in the group. We're going to mark out our previous week high, low, EQ, right? And now we're looking at this in terms of where do we need to be holding as support for obvious reasons. Okay, right here. This is going to be a range, so to speak, that we don't want to necessarily come back in if we're looking for higher targets. So if you're looking for more out of this move up, you really don't want to see Bitcoin coming back in and living inside of this and this ranging about. Doesn't mean that it can't break to the upside again later. Just means that, this immediate move might be coming to an end. And we can start dialing it in a little bit more on top of that. So we know that those levels are fairly important. We also had the daily swing fails that I was talking to you guys about here. And we'll go ahead and make these orange. Orange. There we go.
Is that definitely orange?
Is it orange?
It is. It is. It is.
All right. I was like, don't be a dick, man. Anyway, so you've got a couple swing fails here, and we boxed them off the previous day, like so, right? So this was the area we said that, if we're going to see resistance, this is probably the most likely region you're going to find it. And you can see this is where you're coming into now. You zoom into the hourly, you've got your previous week high, which you're now back testing really, really nicely. That ties into a sync print that Max pointed out late last night. I'll let him pull that up. So he was on top of that as the move was getting going. And what do we know about single prints, guys? Just kind of prelude to that is they will be defended. And the reason they are is if they're entered, well, they likely fill, but also it just means that the trend is no longer being defended aggressively. So a lot of times that starts showing in the order flow as well. But this is the zone we said if gets flipped, we will be looking for a move up to our caveman level, which is 17,592. This is just a bi-weekly hand-generated pivot. It's all that it is. Very, very simple. So easy a caveman can do it, right? So why is it such an important area for us to get through, though, if we are to see that move? Well, we're coming into the monthly close. So it's not surprised to necessarily see a bounce and attempt, but you've got your quarter two low right here. And I actually have this level already marked out in the chart right here. So that is the prior range low at 17,567. Now we go to the monthly, and you can see we haven't closed the monthly below this almost at all. So we're in no man's land, and we would like to see it get back in this region. It doesn't necessarily mean a reversal is happening, though, if we're there. That would really probably have to be something more aggressive, like this is your last local high to low, that gold pocket. You can see 19,411. This is an old support zone right here that was just blown through on the move down. But what it does give us is a really, really nice look at getting back in an old range. And this old range took place for 100 plus days. And you can see this comes in right here. So you can see that's your 40 tick volume profile according to TradingView. That is the point of control. If you get rid of it and you were to go to ATS, however, that is actually your TPO point of control. as the volume point of control according to ATS was actually up here at 20,000 even. But you're really splitting hairs at that point. Basically, it's showing you that this zone is going to really gatekeep whether or not this is going to be a reversal or not, right? We want to see ourselves living above this area in the short and medium time frames if we're going to see any kind of an actual reversal. And we don't have anything to say that we're going to even see this zone yet unless we get above the Q2 low here. So quarter two low is more of a trigger to look for this move potentially as high 19,150 up to 19.4. That would be what you're looking for. And we've talked about this numerous times on the show, you know, this public show, where I said this is a giant descending angle from, you know, 2019. Everyone was using this fractal back here in this region. It was completely irrelevant because you hadn't formed any kind of a potential bottom yet. Whereas right now you've got a giant descending triangle, a massive move down, everyone's bearish. And so what did we say when we made this low? That if we were going to see a similar situation, because the recipe is there, it's probably going to take close to a month. And I don't know how many weeks we've been down here. This is the, this will be the third week down here. And I believe took similar time frame for this to get underway right here. So this is the 25th, the move underway on the 25th. So this is the kind of pump when they unbanned Bitcoin, but it took a month for this to happen. And what you saw was everyone was looking for $6,000. Never came. Well, it did come eventually, but it didn't come right here in the set. Everyone's looking for lower. Price kind of makes a lower low, then it starts reclaiming levels and off it goes, right? And it fills in that quarter NPOC up here and establishes that like 10,500 resistance. You know, very, very similar thing could be taking place here. You know, get into this zone and we can start talking about a move up to this level here, and then maybe even coming back up to like the quarterly pivot in that the 12M1 at 20,688. That's still a pretty key level, which I don't think I have up. It's right here. There we go. This would be the zone that you'd be looking for, right? And you may even come up here and challenge into these highs. So you know, keep that in the back of your mind. In terms of local price action for anyone that's trading the DGen timeframes, this was the ATAS range, and you can see that we have come up to the TPO value area high and front ran the value area high by just a few dollars. So you are still within the range. This has moved up. You didn't actually tag the value low on this move. It actually front ran it. The range has just kind of pulled up a little bit and tightened up. One thing I'll point out is that you do have both points of control pretty much, you know, on top of each other, which is to be expected. Rarely do you get a massive discrepancy between the time point of control and the volume point of control. But you do have 16,500 and 560, and that ties into that single print. I'll let Max cover where that thing ends if it's entered, but it really starts at this previous week high. So in the short term, you really want to see 16,787 holding as support. If you don't, more than likely coming back down to, I would say that 16.5 region where that point of control is, which, you know, it's only a $250 move, but, you know, we're kind of spoiled. We're not spoiled, but we have to take what we're given in this range. Rarely do we get spoiled with big moves. You know, not saying that a big move won't come. It's just take what the market gives you, in and out, extract some money, and then make sure you're on the right side of the bigger moves, because nothing has changed in the macro yet, guys. I mean, nothing changes for me unless, one, we start living back above 75 and then, you know, 19.1. And I mean, when I say living there, I mean, like, this has got to be like a weekly time frame that transpires into like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a monthly, et cetera, et cetera. The only thing that would get me excited about a move up potentially would be if we were to actually come up and make a new daily high and like take this high out, not swing fail it, take it out, turn it into support, and then up. But I don't think that's very likely. You know, I think it still stands that we could come down to this 12M here at 13,880 and see some of these targets. And what I had alluded to yesterday was the dumpster crab, or whatever we were calling it, is that was actually not going to be something that played out right away. It took some time. I believe it was this one right here. It was going to take time. And, you know, this is all the way into the first of next year if time is a factor. So we've still got a full month of Bitcoin doing whatever it wants. And again, what invalidates this idea is actually getting back above C here, which is, what did we just talk about? That last daily low high around 21.2. So, in the scheme of things, if you're looking at things on like a daily time frame, and I'll go to the actual daily for this, you can see that that's where this idea becomes invalid, and we have to change our direction. And we say, okay, we no longer have these targets that are lower anymore. We might be looking for higher targets, and maybe I consider closing the short that I've been holding for like 8-9 months. But that's a conversation we have in that moment when that happens. We just have to be prepared for it. So hopefully that's made sense. Trying to keep it as simple as possible on Bitcoin. I don't think there's anything else that I need to cover outside of the SPX. Would be curious here. So again, SPX coming right into the zone we were looking for. Front ran the zone by like $20. That's not really upsetting by any means. It's just, that's part of trading. You don't often get perfection. I know we strive for it, and it seems like everyone is, aiming to be perfect all the time. It's just not a thing. Sometimes you have to accept that, a 5% deviation from the 8861,618 is actually perfectly acceptable. All we did was mark out the prior high going into this zone, 4,028.84. If that was taken and lost, that would be acceptable. And that's what it gave you. You wicked above it twice, 2 days in a row, and then you've got your gap down here, and you're coming back to support at 39.23. Lose 39.23, and I expect to see this zone right here, which is your B leg, right? Your B leg structural pivot down to the 0.5, which comes in nicely 2021 open. So you're back inside your yearly regression. You had Fibonacci time there. Everything working out really, really nicely in traditional markets. And if these are selling off, I'm not saying Bitcoin has to be correlated, because you guys will hear me talk a lot of shit on correlation traders. But odds are in the macro, if this is selling off and making new lows potentially over time, later on in the year maybe, or sooner than that, who knows? Well, who knows what Jerome Powell is going to say in the next few weeks? Then yeah, you'd expect Bitcoin to be following suit, right? I think the DXY, so for anyone that follows me on Twitter or is in the group or just watches these live streams, knows that we were looking for 106.9669 as resistance off of this bullish reversal pattern right here, this little guy. Okay, and you can see that we are coming into that first area that you want to see claimed at 106.96. Believe we tagged it this morning, got a little bit of sell-off, but getting a nice rally. So DXY doing its thing. It's kind of business as usual. Bitcoin's rotated the range. People are already excited about it. However, there's nothing really that's been done yet. And I gave a specific setup that if we get another push out of Bitcoin that I'd like to see, that is in the group. I'm going to leave that one in the group. That's a nice one. And if it plays, I'll cover it on the live stream for the public. Yeah, that's all I've got on Bitcoin and the SPX. Let's see what Maxwell's got for us.
Okay, so I'm going to go over a little bit of something that Magic has already been going over. So apologies for me re-going over it, I guess. But a few things that I want to say for like more intraday than what even Magic has said. Some trades, okay? So let me hide this for now. Let's go over last night's price action first, and then I'll go over to what I'm currently looking at, where we've come to and front run. Okay, that's quite important there. So last night, this was last night for me, it was a very hard trade to get into. We mentioned this in the live stream that we literally just had. We went over it all. So, but here we go again. So if we put on our marked levels, apologies that it makes it somewhat of a mess, but the only one that I really want you to keep an eye on is the weekly open. And I believe this is the only way that one could have got, had they not been in a trade, the only way one could have got into a trade to profit off this rise, okay? And you were looking at the market structure claim for the weekly open. So you came up above the level, came back down, back tested it. And the interesting thing is you had very minor, but it was there. So it was your second form of confluence for the claim. So you got the market structure claim that you want. Your second form of confluence, well, you had a very minor from this area on the chart. Let's zoom out and make it more clear. You can spot from here to here. You actually did have some bullish divergence. So that with your claim, you've got a stop loss and you've got your reason for wanting to enter that trade. So that's the only way that I can possibly have seen a trade in this region. Unfortunately, it came at a period where I can't trade. So it is what it is. Sometimes it gets like that. It's been like that the last couple of days where you've had the volatility right before I wake up. It's been rather upsetting. The move up, very weak, very weak. You had huge volume. Okay, so that's good. Delta was positive, which is okay when it's on increasing open interest. The fact it's not been, okay, that's shorts closing out. The reason that's not a good thing is because you kind of want to have them shorts close out, a bit later on, because they're the fuel. If you're going to use up all your fuel, you're not going to go anywhere. And the fact you've had such a sharp decrease in open interest there, so many liquidations. These big red bubbles here, they are liquidations. The fact you've had so many people get stopped out, get liquidated, you've exhausted your fuel to the upside. Granted, there may be more, but with the fact of how many you've had taken out, it really doesn't favor too much more fast moves like we had just then, because to get them fast moves, you do need liquidations, you do need stop losses getting hit, you need that's what you need for the fast moves. Basically, that's why you normally get them to the downside. That's what you need to the upside. It would have been better if we had some buyers coming in, which we have not. In fact, a bit later on in the day, you had a swing failure pattern of the high, and it was Danny in the group that pointed out that you actually had stagnating open interest at the top here. I say stagnating open interest, it was negative about 1 million, but compared to the delta and the volume, there was something going on there. So you had positions changing hands here. Also on the absolute ultimate crack timeframes, the volume chart, you did get some bearish divergence here, which was your second sign to maybe take a trade here. But if you were waiting for just a swing failure pattern, you got in down here, you had many selling imbalances, which is your confirmation for the trade, your entry trigger even. So the fact you've had your entry trigger, the setup, where your stop losses, because it's a swing failure pattern, they're pretty easy, and taking profits at the view up. So if anyone was to take that, very good trade. I did not. I was asleep. But right now, we're currently lingering because, again, you've exhausted all the volume or the short fuel to the upside. Granted, there may be more. However, we have come into a very interesting area. So I'm going to flip back over to TradingView and pop on this. We're actually at just front run by what's that, $20? A golden pocket, if you pulled it from where we rejected at the Q3 low at the start of the month. So if you pulled the golden pocket, you can see it's pulled from this high to the low. We actually just front ran the golden pocket. Now, this area is interesting because you've got a naked point of control here and stops all in the same area, but we did front run it. So what can we expect here? Well, if we have exhausted all the fuel to the upside, or the majority of fuel to the upside, we could just see a rise to come into this area, collect any more shorts from these highs from pretty much the middle of the month, start/middle, which is another liquidity zone. You've also got a naked weekly point of control here. And then come down and, you've got your early entry triggers being this high getting taken. I'm just going to say I love it. Swing failure patterns. They're always the confirmation. I'm always going to mention them in the stream because for the people that are in the group and, aren't, swing failure patterns are the easiest trade to set up. They're the easiest ones to describe because they've got the stop loss, they've got the entry triggers. So, if you're looking for the naked point of control, you can use the entry trigger of these highs getting taken and lost as your confirmation. Also the golden pocket, even more so with this new high we've just put on if you're a bit on the cautious side. So I quite like that area for a trade. And then also up at that Q2 low, which Magic was mentioning, you've also got a untapped daily and another possible swing failure pattern of this high here to be taken. But yeah, that's all I've got for the short side. Now, single pin, sorry, that's not what I've got for the short side. We could have also got a golden pocket here from the local high. And it's interesting because it actually comes in on the top of the initial balance, which is this one here. So the top of this first candle is the initial balance, and it comes in right on that golden pocket. I'm going to be looking for a short there if it comes and is given on the order flow. Definitely be looking for a short there. now we've tested and bounced from the previous week high and single prints. If we go and test them again, chances are they may not hold as strongly as they did here. But going into the single prints, they are as such. So it's always interesting when you open and immediately get a rise, because the single prints are there. But I always do ponder to how strong they are when it's at the open of the day. I prefer to see like a bit of price action here, a bit more than just one extra block, but a bit more price action, and then get a move up. You want like a bit of a profile here, a volume time profile here, then a bit of one here. But the fact we didn't get that is interesting.
It's interesting as well. That's your monthly point of control. It's the last day of the month, so it'd be interesting to see if we come back to it or leave it naked.
Down here,
it's at 16.5.
I don't really have it on here, but yeah. But the fact, the only reason that it's really this is not strong, but more likely that if we do break it, we fall through, is down to the fact that the open interest just got absolutely massacred on the rise. There's just no buys in there pretty much at all. It was all shorts closing out. So the fact that you've not got the buys in there, the liquidity to, if when price comes back down and defend the levels, you have to think of it as like a hollow candle effectively. There's no one in there. It's just empty. So it's an inefficiency on the chart that price, if started to get into it, it will just free fall back through it. And we do like a bot pan or something like that, which is a very high possibility considering the open interest has just been on an absolute tear. Now, the reason I say that, there's shorts to the upside that are, pretty closer than the ones that we were looking at the Q2 low, is the fact that the open interest has risen throughout the day. And yet the delta, I just zoomed in and it bounced quite a lot, but the delta actually hasn't really done too much today. So that means that positions are building on both sides. So could we see some fuckery? I was going to say tomfoolery, but I think, fuckery just works just as well.
Fine.
Yeah. Could we see some of that? Sure. The open interest has been increasing, and there's no real clear sign to which way is strong right now. We've not seen more shorts enter. We've not seen more longs enter. The market doesn't really know where to go. So could we see the highs get taken, go to that, you actually tap the golden pocket, go to take them stops and the weekly naked point control? Sure, we could. That's an easier setup than just thinking, we're going to close the single prints now. I was saying in the live trading session we just did, if we are to fall through it, because we actually started it here and we came down and bounced from it, it's a difficult one to really just think, okay, I'm going to jump into a short. As soon as you break into it, you need other factors to really make you think, okay, I'm going to take this as the trade, especially where we were, where you were just lingering on the top of it. To just short when you're at a level is just absurd. You really have to be in it. I think I was telling everyone, it's not going to be a leverage short. You're just literally going to be, if you're in Bitcoin, it's going to be a hedge. You're not going to be leveraging up a trade to close them single prints, because it's not really a very good setup. It's just kind of protective because there's that inefficiency there, that it has the chance to dump through it. I wouldn't really be leveraging it too high. And then I gave pretty much the trades that we said earlier. If they're to come off, that's where you want to be putting leverage in, because the stop loss is valid, the your entry is going to be valid, and it's a better setup than just free falling through a level. But you can see here, you had tons and tons of, I say tons and tons, you had a lot of shorts coming in. And on this second attempt, it's like when you see mass entries into the market, 2.2 million there in that, what's this, 20 ticks, that's a $10 box. $2.2 million shorts failing to take the price, pretty much anywhere for, it was actually, while that was building, it was for a considerable time. And it's like, when you get that type of position build up and then you don't break it, you don't break the level, why are you going to enter a short with all them when that a huge, that's say huge position. I was going to say huge market maker. It's a big position for it not to take the price anyway. It's just not looking like this is going to be the point of break. So, and you also had it to the upside a bit later on. You had like 2.2 million coming here. There's positions on either sides now that can easily be taken out, which is why I'm kind of expecting that to be the case. I'm not saying we get a Darth Maul candle or anything like that, but maybe we liquidate one side and head to the other, or come rather deep into the golden pocket, into the single prints rather, and then take out the other. It's building up. They're trying to build up positions here, while people don't know where it's going, to then find the liquidity to take it to somewhere else, because they built the liquidity down here for the shorts and then they absolutely massacred them there. So they need to build the liquidity again. That's why today's been so goddamn range bound, because they're building the liquidity on other sides to then use it as fuel to take the market elsewhere. So that's why people are building positions here. They're not able to take profits anywhere, and they still yet to really be stopped out. There has been, we've had this where some people have got stopped out, but it's been very minor compared to what could occur. So it's kind of a waiting game right now to come to a trade and wait for a setup. So don't be too quick to jump into a trade if we do come to the lows. So you need to see acceptance, in my opinion, into the single prints, rather than thinking, oh, we've taken the lows, the single print's going to close, jump into a short. It could just tank it down, but then you've missed the trade. Who cares? But if you come back down, get a back test, and then it rejects again, oh, perfect. That's what you want to see to jump into that one. Rejecting from the previous week high, month closes, and as Magic said, the monthly naked point of control, I don't think I even have it on here. Actually, it might be hidden behind the previous day point of control. But the fact that that's there, if it occurs overnight and get the move down, there's your entry to take it to the previous month point of control. It's a solid setup, but you have to get the right entries. You can't just be FOMOing in thinking, shit, it's dumping, I need to jump into a trade. You need to be
that's the only time I trade.
What, when you're dumping or when the shit is dumping?
When everything's just moving, I'm just like, I got to jump on board of this train. I will say, if we make that move down before another move up, or before the month closes, you have that point of control just beneath you at like 16.5, which is also your overall range point of control. Like, it's the same thing for our structure range. If you look up near about 17.7, 17.8, that'll be where your new monthly pivot will generate. So, interesting setup. I would prefer another move to the highs before down, but we'll see.
Also, interesting thing at the Q2 low is also the 786 from that low to high. So, it just adds, you've got 3 layers of confluence there, with the confirmation being the highs getting taken. But anyway, sidetracking. I'll let you crack on now, Magic, if you can do something.
No, there's not much else to cover. That's it. There's quite a bit of resistance above us. Doesn't mean it can't go through it. It's just, keep that in mind. It is hard to kind of narrow down where the best setups are going to be, on the opposite direction. And I think Max said it best, just because you don't want to front run when positions are opening to the upside or downside. You don't want to just get on the opposing side of that just to get on the opposing side. There are other factors you have to look at. For me, I've got specific setups that I want to play, and if I get them, I'll trade them. If I don't worry about it. If they don't play out, I just look for the next area. So would love to see that move up. I know you have 17.2. I have 17.334 is where I would like to see.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Nothing there.
There is something there. I'll show you in the group.
Ooh.
I'll show you in the group what's there. They should know. If you're in the group, you should know. I posted it last night in the Bitcoin chat, and there was a little discussion about it. But there is a very interesting setup, and it would be perfect if we got that move by today around my time, 3:00. So, yeah.
Oh, great! Screw me then. Let me go.
Yeah, you'll be fucking asleep, man. Right. It's not gonna be when you're awake, but yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hey, I'm giving you a heads up, man.
But yeah, are we done? All good?
I think so. Not much else to cover, guys. I know normally CVO does some alts. I wanted to keep this one short and sweet. I've got to do some packing, get my luggage sorted out, and get the dogs sorted out as well, because they're not coming with. So make sure everything's taken care of. It's also my mom's birthday, so everyone wish my mom Terry a happy birthday. I think she watches these, so
Happy
Always.
birthday, Terry.
Yeah, everybody say happy birthday, Magic's mom in the comments. That'd be great. Otherwise, I've got nothing else, guys. Enjoy the end of the month. If you're not following us on YouTube and Twitter, the links are down below. Link to the Discord is down below. You know the spiel. Smash the like. This is a 30-minute video, which is great. We'll catch you guys. Well, I won't catch you tomorrow, but CVO and Max will be here tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Perhaps.
What'd you say?
Tashless, perhaps. It's the end of the month.
Oh, yeah. No, this is going to be gone tomorrow. So next time you guys see me, I will have a bit of a appearance change. The beard will be gone, even though it doesn't look bad. It's a lot to keep up with.
But yeah.
Maybe I'll go homeless for you guys next year. I'll just do it. I used to do 1 year beards where I didn't shave for a full year, just let it go.
Not trim it at all.
No, yeah, I just let it go, dude.
Well,
some of us are blessed in the facial hair. Some of us aren't. You're blessed in the hair on the head. I'm blessed on the face. Yeah, you've got all that hair up there. So you got that Bieber hair. Look at that. You got a fucking helmet. He's got a fucking helmet there. Like, good Lord. Like, you could ride a motorcycle with that one, I bet.
My barber was busy.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys